Welcome to another episode of That One Movie Podcast, also known as TOMP, the weekly show where we discuss movies, games, and TV shows in addition to kinda whatever. Mainly we just shout nonsense into our microphones. I'm your host, Holden Sutter, joined by my co-host, Jimmy Youthy.
Man, it's been a warm January this year, huh, Holden?
Has it?
It has. It's been unusually warm. This is what I say now that I'm a working man.
Uh-oh. I have not left my apartment today, so...
Oh, I don't know if it's that nice today, but just historically.
Yeah. Yesterday it was snowing quite a bit. I earned a lot of money on DoorDash. We're not sponsored, by the way.
DoorDash, proud sponsor of That One Movie Podcast.
If we say it enough, it'll become true.
Yeah. That's how it is these days anymore.
We've got a great episode for you this week featuring our discussion of our top 10 anticipated movies of the year. We're not actually doing a review or anything this week, which is like the first time we've done that since maybe last year's episode about our 10 anticipated movies. This is basically just a remake of that episode because a lot of them are going to carry over.
We should have just re-released it.
Yeah.
All right, Holden, let's do it.
That One Movie Podcast.
Tom.
First, Jimmy, we've got to do Toms.
You bet we do.
The Toms. Toms is a rapid fire segment where Toms is a rapid fire segment where we rate the news of the week in the world of entertainment on a scale of 3 famous Toms: Brokaw, Bombadil, and Bergeron. Brokaw being the highest, Bombadil the lowest, and Bergeron is somewhere in between. Jimmy, let's get to it.
You know, Holden, if you would have given yourself a pause in there, I would have been able to edit it out and save face for you there. But
no, I purposely did it because I wanted you to keep it in.
All right, Holden, what's the news this week?
All right, so we'll start out with what we usually do. We'll do a little trailer, talk about a little trailer.
No, we usually talk about release dates.
Well, no, we do trailers first usually.
Okay.
If we have one.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, so literally just like an hour or two ago, we got a trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong. We're recording earlier today than we usually do, so I was kind of hoping I knew this was coming out today. I was hoping it would come out before the podcast recording. And it did. Godzilla vs. Kong. Pretty self-explanatory of what the movie is. It's Godzilla versus King Kong. It comes out end of March, simultaneously on HBO Max and theaters. What'd you think, Jimmy?
Godzilla's the bad guy now. Something's up with Godzilla.
Yeah, he's bad, I guess.
But
he's been like good in the last two movies, I guess.
You know, the thing I realized while watching this trailer is, boy, I don't remember what happened in the other 3 movies in this universe. And I have seen them all, to be fair. And I'm also like, why have I seen any of these movies?
The problem is they're making like a cinematic universe out of it, but like nothing is memorable enough for you to remember. Like, I remember the organization Monarch. I know the name, but I don't remember what they do. Charles Dance.
Charles Dance, that's right. Was he in this trailer?
No, I don't think so. I don't know if he's in this movie.
Well, that's a disappointment. I forgot about Charles Dance, and he was so into nature. What was it? He was like a militant.
He's like an eco-terrorist.
Eco-terrorist. He's like, humans are destroying the world, so I need to destroy humans. Something? That was a long movie. We saw that late at night, and I was like, this is a terrible experience.
I went and saw it with my brother who's in middle school, and even the middle schooler got bored.
We didn't see it together?
No, this is like during the summer.
Yeah, it was. Who did I go with? Must have been Robbie or something. Irrelevant. It was so long and late, and I was like, what? Must have been Robbie and Joe. Also, the little King Kong girl who King Kong likes the girl. I don't remember if she's in anything. Is she
I
in
don't
the
think
other
she
ones?
is. She's just there now.
The last Godzilla 2 ends in Fenway Park.
Does it?
I'm like, this is weird. It again. Yeah.
Millie Bobby Brown is back.
Yeah. Oh, she is, huh?
Yeah.
Is she the kid, Godzilla kid? Did I just not?
No, she was in the trailer, but she was just in like a couple shots or something.
I totally missed her. I will say, the whole Hong Kong at night showdown looks pretty cool. Looks like eye candy.
Yeah, it does.
Also catering to that Chinese audience. Yeah, I just like these movies just look silly, but I don't know. The visual style is so unrealistic. The colors, how like saturated they are. It has like a hint of like a Batman and Robin Joel Schumacher feel, but at like a much better, like much better looking, but like that same vibe where everything's just very colorful, unnaturally.
Have you seen the poster for it?
No.
Okay, it has like the exact same color scheme as that Spiral poster that came out like way last year.
Godzilla versus Kong. Dawn of Justice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm somewhat excited because I mean the fights plural between Kong and Godzilla looks somewhat exciting. But I mean, I don't want it to just be as boring as Godzilla 2 was. Like that was it was such a slog. I mean, at least at this point we'll be able to watch it at home.
That's true. The way it was meant to be seen on a smaller screen.
I might go see it in theaters if it gets like at least decent reviews. If it's just not good though, I'm not going to bother.
Yeah, I just like Godzilla's a bad guy now. He's probably or she, I forget.
I don't know.
Probably misunderstood.
Yeah,
or something.
They'll probably team up at the end to fight a different monster.
Wow. Godzilla versus Kong, Dawn of Monarch. Are they the bad guys? Again,
I don't know.
This series is not memorable. I'll give it a Bergeron. I'm really excited for that Hong Kong fight, though. That just like I love Hong Kong, the style of it. At night, it looks so cool.
Yeah.
And then there's two giant monsters fighting, and they happen to be King Kong and Godzilla. I thought Godzilla was way bigger than King Kong, but
he was. I think there's like supposedly there's like in Godzilla 2 or no, in the Kong movie they say that he's like still growing, and that was in like the 60s or whatever. So I guess
did not remember that.
He's just like 100 feet bigger now, I guess.
I remember liking Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, it was all right.
I really need to rewatch the Peter Jackson one.
I need to just watch it because I haven't seen it.
Okay, that was way too much rambling about that trailer. Sorry.
Yeah, everybody. I was surprised. I figured you'd be like, yeah, whatever, move on.
This is what it must be like to like just not remember things anymore. Just like I kind of know this thing, but what's going on? Who are these people?
Okay, so now we're getting on to delays and new release dates, and this is a big segment this week because a lot of stuff happened, and it was all. The catalyst
just in time for our most anticipated movies of the year list.
The catalyst for this, as it kind of was last year too, is No Time to Die. This is the first
change
delay
again.
Yeah, this is the first time, this is the first delay that was announced, and then subsequently a bunch of other companies also announced their delays. But No Time to Die was coming out in April, but now it's coming out October 8th, 2021.
Is that like a year and a half later?
Yeah,
later,
yeah, because it was originally April 2020. It was supposed to come out.
It's getting the Quiet Place Part 2 treatment.
Yeah, well, I feel so bad for Daniel Craig because he obviously just doesn't care about these movies anymore, and he's just forced to keep talking about them.
I don't want to go on Jimmy Kimmel again.
Slams his fist. Damn it.
All right. I still do not care about that movie. I've never been excited for that movie.
And it's just drawing out that lack of excitement. Great.
I could not be more. I have more apathy towards that movie.
But yeah, as you mentioned, Quiet Place Part 2 also got delayed. It was supposed to come out in April of this year, but now it's coming out in September 17th, 2021.
Yep. That's
I keep forgetting that movie's coming out. Honestly, like I am excited for it, but until this delay was announced, it was just completely off my radar. I had just completely forgotten about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that had almost come out. These two movies. Yep. Those poor people doing the press circuits all over again.
The next one is Last Night in Soho. The new Edgar Wright movie was supposed to come out in April, but now it's pushed back to October 22nd, 2021. It's a horror movie, so that's right in time for Halloween, so it makes sense.
I didn't realize it was a horror movie.
Yeah.
My life is a bloody horror movie. Am I right?
That means it'll probably have to, assuming it comes out, it'll have to fight against the new Halloween Kills movie or whatever.
Halloween trick or treat. It's a trick. I'm going to kill you. That's the full title.
Next up is The King's Man, pushed back from March 12th to August 20th. Another movie I keep forgetting is coming out.
Talk about a movie nobody cares about. The King's Man, the solo of every other movie.
Then we have Ghostbusters Afterlife.
That's a movie I completely forgot about.
Yeah, I kind of did too. Moved from June 11th to November 11th. So
Armistice Day, perfect.
That's another. I don't care too much about that one.
Veterans Day. Nice.
Then the Bob's Burgers movie was removed from the schedule entirely. It was supposed to come out in April, but now it doesn't have a release date. Do you watch Bob's Burgers at all, Jimmy?
I've seen that 1 or 2 episodes that we watched together, and I didn't think it was that funny.
Okay.
So I just don't think it's my cup of tea.
Sure. The next one, this was one that I didn't even know was coming out, but Nightmare Alley, the new Guillermo del Toro movie, apparently has been pushed back to December 2nd, 2021.
Okay.
And apparently that movie, just a little bit about the movie. It apparently is a remake of a movie of the same name from the 40s. I had never heard of it. But it stars Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, Willem Dafoe, Toni Collette, Rooney Mara, and of course Ron Perlman.
Yeah, I think he's a great director. I don't necessarily love his movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. All right.
Then we have this was maybe the most surprising one. So last week we said that Morbius was pushed back to October, but it's been pushed back even farther. It's now coming out in January 21st of next year. So just under a year away from now, we're getting Morbius.
Just push it off a cliff.
Yeah.
It'll probably be a 5 out of 10 or whatever.
Probably. Then Uncharted, which neither of us had realized was actually coming out this year, or at least as early as it was.
Somehow, even though we talk about it every week.
It was pushed back from mid-July to February 11th, 2022, so over a year away. That movie, we're never getting that movie. We thought we were because of the filming had actually completed, but now we're never. It's just going to keep getting pushed back.
I feel like we were talking about that at the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah.
Also, our 2-year anniversary is coming up in a couple weeks, Holden.
Ooh. I'll have to do something special, and by that I mean nothing. Then the new Cinderella movie, which I'm not really aware of what it's supposed to... it's not a Disney one. It's owned by... I think it's a Sony or something. I don't know. But it's being pushed.
So it has to be good.
It's being moved from February to July 16th. Don't really care. And then I have a few more that I'm going to run through here because I know you don't care about any of these.
Because I've cared about all of these before.
Peter Rabbit 2 pushed back from April to June 11th. Ron's Gone Wrong, April 23rd to October 22nd. Some of these I don't even know what they are. I'm just listing them because they were part of the Disney Fox pushback and stuff. Antlers pushed back to October 29th. The
Is
Night
that
House,
the horror one, Antlers?
Yeah, that one's been pushed back a lot too. I
remember seeing the trailer and that looks interesting.
Yeah. I think it's about a Wendigo or something.
Yeah.
The Night House, July 26th, and The Eyes of Tammy Faye, September 24th. So yeah, a lot of delays happened this week. Pretty much, I think all of the major studios, aside from Warner Bros. And like Disney's in-house like main studio stuff, had like came out and were just like, yeah, we're just gonna push back all of our movies.
Wow.
So yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully the remaining ones on our list, Holden, actually come out this year.
I'm going to give that collectively a Bergeron.
Yeah. I don't care about most of those. I'm still excited to see Uncharted, though.
Yeah. Then this one kind of connects with it a little bit. Connects because the movie Connected, which we reviewed a trailer of a long time ago. I didn't realize that was like way back in March, but I guess COVID does that to you. Was that animated movie? You remember that, Jimmy?
Was this the one with the weird tonal shift right in the middle of the trailer where there's like aliens or something?
Like robots? Yeah, it's like a family that's on their phones too much.
Yeah, I've totally forgot about that.
Yeah, it's the new Phil Lord, the new Lord and Miller
Lord
movie.
Miller, sure, yeah.
But it's been renamed to The Mitchells versus the Machines, which I think is a worse title. But it has been bought by Netflix, so it's going to be released on Netflix at some point this year, but no release date has been announced.
All right. That certainly is an update. Bergeron, I guess.
Yeah, Bergeron. We have some Snyder Cut news, Jimmy.
Thank goodness.
So I think back at DC Fandom, it had been confirmed that it was going to be a mini-series. However, Zack Snyder has since, in the last week, come out and said that it's actually going to be a single movie. So we are going to be getting a 4-hour Justice League movie.
Great. Now I have to digest all that in one sitting.
Yeah. Can't wait for that. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give it a
I'll give it a Bombadil too. I was looking forward to having to just take that in doses.
Mm-hmm. According to Wall Street Journal, Christopher Nolan is currently looking at other movie companies aside from Warner Bros. to helm his next movie at. Obviously Warner Bros. Has been a longtime collaborator with him, but this is apparently because of the HBO Max decision. Like, he's so mad about this that he's willing to like sever ties with this company that has given him so much money.
Yeah, I mean, I guess also Christopher Nolan, they have given you so much freedom on your movies. Where like Inception, like, are you kidding me? No, like, what studio is gonna let you make Inception?
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess he's established enough now that he's like Tarantino, where he can just like, well, I'll just have these studios bid for me and it'll be fine. Mm-hmm. So he'll be fine. Whatever. I mean, Warner Bros. Will be like, oh, it's a bummer for them since they won't make the money off his next, movies that he makes. But I guess if he's that mad, okay. But also this like, you would not be able to be who you are without this studio.
Yeah, it also seems silly because, like, okay, I mean, I have no way of knowing how long the pandemic will last, but I assume with how long his turnaround is on movies, like, his next movie will not be at risk for this problem, this HBO Max thing.
No, and I guess he just feels like he's taking the moral high ground here.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. He's very, I want to use the word pretentious, but I don't want to just be mean. He's very particular when it comes to the cinematic experience. Mm-hmm. So I guess he feels like that ideal is being compromised by this studio, and he feels like he just cannot work with them because they don't align with his values. So
yeah, I
think that might be a little bit traditional and old school to a fault, but I don't think it's completely unreasonable. Mm-hmm. Like, I just think there are bigger issues in the world than being able to see a movie in the theater.
I think I'll go so far as to give this like a Bombadil. Like, this seems really, to me, it seems overreacting. I get his like thought process so that he feels that he's doing maybe the right thing, but I don't know.
I'm glad he's sticking up for theaters and stuff and that experience, but also you literally like wanted people to go out in COVID hotspots to see Tenet.
Yeah.
So I don't really think I'm gonna completely side with you, Chris, on this one. Also, your last 4 movies have not been that good, in my opinion. They've been good, not great.
I like Dunkirk a lot.
Dunkirk's
I
the
haven't
best
seen
of
Interstellar.
them. I need to rewatch Interstellar, but I'm just saying Inception was your last great movie, personally.
Okay. So the next thing is an announcement of a new Game of Thrones prequel series. Just what we need. Another Game of Thrones prequel series in the works that we'll have to wait like 10 years to get.
There's
but this
2
one
in the works right now before this one? 2?
I think so.
Now this is 3?
Yeah. And this one I wanted to mention mostly because of the name, because the name's really funny. It's called The Tale of Dunk and Egg. But
Sounds
it's
like a breakfast place.
Yeah, it does sound like that. It just makes me hungry whenever I hear that. But apparently it's going to follow Sir Duncan the Tall and Aegon Targaryen 90 years prior to the series. I don't know. It's based on 3 novellas that apparently George R.R. Martin published alongside Game of Thrones. Yeah. What do you think of that, Jimmy?
I don't know. Aegon Targaryen, he's the one that came in and burned everything down the first time, right? I don't know.
I don't remember. Maybe.
I think it could be interesting, so I'll give it a Bergeron. But George, for your own sake, just finish writing A Song of Ice and Fire so you could just live the rest of your life.
I wonder like how involved he is with the making of these series. He'll be like, "Well, I can't finish the books. I'm working on the on the series, the 3 prequel series that no one cares about."
I just remember when he's like, if I don't have this book done by July 2020, you can put me in jail. And that was 6 months ago. And he's like, well, I hope to release it in 2021. Like,
great.
I mean, that's just, I feel terrible for him. What a terrible place to be in. All these people are just on you all the time about finishing this book. And you just kind of don't want to do it anymore. So you should just pay somebody to write. You just have Stephen King just whip one out and it'll be bad. Call it a day.
Okay. I'll give it a Bergeron.
Great. Any other news, Holden?
Yeah. So we got there's a Willy Wonka prequel movie in the works, Jimmy.
Called, let me guess, Wonka.
It is. How'd you guess, Jimmy?
Well, it was Willy or it was Wonka, and the more iconic of the two is Wonka. So
they were not going to name their movie Willy.
Free Wonka.
Yeah. So it's apparently going to be directed by Paul King, who has directed the Paddington movies, which are apparently really good. I've never seen them though.
Yeah, apparently those are really good.
But apparently it's going to be releasing in 2023, and they don't have cast confirmed yet, but the current front runners are Tom Holland and Timothée Chalamet.
Wow.
So basically like the same person.
Except one has more Oscars. Has Timothée Chalamet won an Oscar yet?
I don't
he's
know.
Just been nominated a bunch.
Yeah, he's been nominated for more for sure.
Timothée Chalamet is like the refined Tom Holland.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way of putting him. I like both of them.
I do too.
So I mean, I would probably, unless one of them does something really bad in the next couple years, I would perhaps see this just due to the director's past past wins. I couldn't think of a good way to say it. Past wins, and also just the actors themselves. So, yeah.
I have what past wins?
What good movies he's made? I don't know. I can't think of like the right words
past
for it.
win. I thought you meant wind, as in like.
Oh no, wins.
I was like, farts from last week.
Past hits. That's what I should say. I couldn't think of the right word.
I was a little worried for your health there for a second. You just froze.
What you should do is you take that silence and extend it for far longer than it actually was.
You know, I could say I did right now,
And then people
and just leave it the way it is, and people would believe that I did extend it, because it was a solid like 3 seconds of just dead space in the middle of the podcast. I'll leave it unadulterated, Holden, in the edit, and people will be like, "Did my headphones unplug? What's going on here?"
Yeah, my brain just shut off there for a second. So,
stay with us. Stay with us.
I'll give a Willy Wonka prequel a Bergeron.
I'll give it a Bombadil because I don't care, and I'm not gonna see it.
So that's it for movie news. But I just wanted to talk about a little bit of gaming news because for me personally, some excitement came out this week regarding Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Resident Evil Village, the 8th mainline Resident Evil game, got a release date. It's coming out May 7th, which is what?
That's soon.
It is soon, and it's less than a year after it was announced too. A demo was released, but exclusively on the PS5, so like no one could play it. But from what I read, I haven't actually watched any of the. I kind of want to watch someone play through the demo, but from what I've heard, it's pretty good. It's still first person, and it is a lot more horror than action, similar to 7. But it does have quite a few new mechanics and like different things about it that I was kind of looking at. I don't remember exactly what they were. But yeah, it seems to have a pretty positive reception overall. People are pretty obsessed with the new antagonist of the movie, which is like a very tall vampire lady person.
I watched like the Resident Evil person walkthrough.
Sure.
And I thought it looked bad, personally.
Really?
I was like, they're like introducing crafting. And I'm like, there was crafting in 7. What are you talking about? Like, that's not new. They're like, oh, we all know. Oh, also, just the video was made very cheesily. It was like, we all know what red barrels do in video games. And it shoots and explodes. And it's like very slowly paced. And there's a lot of dead space in the like, voiceover. And I'm like, graphically looked great. I was like, the tone of this and I don't know. This does not look nearly as interesting as I was hoping it would, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll look more interesting closer to release.
My hype for the game went way down after watching the video because I was like, this just looks bad. You can watch the video and determine for yourself, but I haven't played the demo or anything. I hope I'm wrong because I really did enjoy 7.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like all these new things. I'm like, this is all in 7. This is not new. You're just lying.
You mentioned the graphics. Like this, the 2 and 3 remakes and 7 have all run on the RE engine, which is just like a great engine. I don't know, like, I mean, maybe it's very confined to the likes of Capcom and their Resident Evil games, but like the engine is so good that if it was like publicly available, I would think like more companies should use it. Just like everything in those games looks and feels and works so good. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll announce VR support and all that again, because yeah. So I'll give it a Bombadil. Actually, I thought it was bad. So watch the video and let me know what you think.
Yeah, I haven't seen the video. I'll give it a Brokaw based on what I've heard. And the other thing, also Resident Evil related, I wanted to quickly mention is that there has been a Resident Evil 4 remake in the works. I don't know if I'd mentioned it on the podcast. Apparently,
I think you did.
Okay, it's apparently been in the works since like 2018. But the studio that Capcom had working on it apparently took it in a direction that Capcom didn't like, so a lot of the development is being redone, like rebooted by Capcom's main in-house team. So it has been in development since 2018, but it'll be likely a while before we get it, just due to that. But yeah, I like Resident Evil 4 a lot. I mean, I just played it within the last year for the first time, and I'd be curious to see what a remake would be like. It'd have to be really good because that's the game that everyone's like in love with is 4. So
yeah, I don't know. Seems somewhat cheesy to me.
It is a cheesy game.
Yeah, Holden. That's it, right?
Yep. I'll give that a Brokaw.
I'll give it a Bergeron.
All right. That's it for Tom's. We'll move on to our discussion of our top 10 most anticipated films of 2021.
Yes.
All right, Jimmy. Movies are coming out this year. Maybe.
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 Don't get your hopes up.
I'm really hoping these come out this year. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, a lot of these are taken from last year because last year, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 of my top 3 movies didn't end up coming out. I know at least 2 of them didn't. I can't remember what my number 3 was. But yeah, there's a bunch of those movies that are coming out supposedly this year, but there are some other ones that are new that are coming out this year as well that I'm also excited for.
Yeah, Holden. I will admit, I did copy and paste, and then that's where I started from, and then reworked it from there.
I couldn't find my list from last year, so I had to start from scratch. But
You
I
gotta
can just
be
remember
more
some
organized, Holden. Come on.
I think to start though, go through some honorable mentions, perhaps. Ones that didn't quite make the cut.
The only honorable mention I had was I feel like will maybe be on your list, so I don't know.
Okay. What is it? Or do you want to just wait?
Free Guy.
Oh, okay. That is actually not. That's on my honorable mentions.
I also put Nomadland, but I guess that technically came out last year, so
yeah.
I mean, but nobody's really seen it unless you're like a critic, so
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Free Guy. Yeah, I mean, I'm still excited for the reasons that I keep reiterating, so I won't get into it now.
I guess I'll put. I do have other other notable movies that did not include, but I don't know. I say we just go. I guess you go through your honor. I don't know.
I'll go through my honorable mentions real quick. So I have Free Guy, Jackass 4. I have come to quite love the Jackass movies in the last couple years. I have F9 if that comes out. It might not.
Yeah.
I think that might be kind of fun. I have the Suicide Squad, just because of James Gunn and the pretty stacked cast. And I have Shang-Chi, Legend of the 7 or 10 Rings. I can't remember which number it is.
Legend of Shang-Chi, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested because it's going to be kind of like a kung fu type movie, but set in the MCU. So I'll be curious to see how they do that. Yeah, those are my honorable mentions. Okay, on to our top 10. I think what we'll do, kind of what we did last year, is we'll go one by one, and then if what we have, if like what I have on my number 10 is like your number 8 or something, then we can just talk about it together.
Yes.
I'll go with my number 10 first. My number 10 is Black Widow.
Black Widow was not on my list. I had that as like a other movie that's coming out this year.
Okay.
Guess honorable mention. I don't know.
Black Widow, that was probably the one. Before the podcast, I was rearranging my list, and this actually moved down quite a bit. I am excited for it because I like the MCU a lot, as I've reiterated many, many times.
You like the MCU?
Yeah, believe it or not. But I think this movie, I was excited for it more so just because it's a new MCU movie, and the more time that passes, the more I'm like, just come out with it. Like, I don't even, at this point, I just want new Marvel movies to come out. I don't even care like about the movie Black Widow that much. Yeah, I don't know. That's why it's at my number 10.
Yeah. All right, my number 10 is Nobody with
I should have put this on my honorable mentions. I completely forgot.
with Bob Odenkirk as John Wick, kind of, basically.
Yeah.
If you didn't see the trailer, Nobody. I think I like Bob Odenkirk. I like those action movies. I think it could be good, just a good time at the movies. I don't think it's going to be like life-changing, but it looks like a good time.
Is it directed by one of the John Wick guys, or is it just produced?
I don't do research, Holden. That's your job. I'm not a journalism major. I teach. I don't do.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty excited for Nobody 2. That gets an honorable mention for me.
All right, Holden. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is Mission Impossible 7.
Ooh, wow. I have that number 3. So
Really?
they're good movies, Holden.
Yeah, they are.
They're all like 9 out of 10s lately. So why would I not have that up? Like, it's like almost guaranteed to be a really good time at the theaters. Tom Cruise doing Tom Cruise things that are insane.
Christopher McQuarrie back directing.
Yeah. Come on, Holden. It's going to be a great time.
I probably should put it higher. I think it was more of just, I know basically nothing about it aside from, like, we don't even know a synopsis or anything. Like,
that's okay. Well, we know Tom Cruise yelled at people, so he's
that's
going to be
right.
running. You know he's going to be running. So.
That's coming out in November, so we'll see if it actually comes out this year.
I know there's like a giant like ramp off a mountain or something. So
is there really?
I think so, something like that.
I hope they spoil that in the trailer.
They will. They always show like the big stuff kind of in the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah, Fallout. I mean, that was like one of my 2 favorite movies of the year it came out. That was great.
So you have Mission Impossible 7 at 9. That is ridiculous.
Yep. What's at 9 for you?
9 is Malignant, a movie that it's the next one by James Wan, and literally nobody knows anything about it.
Yeah, that's right. That was another one I forgot to even put anywhere. Does that have a release date?
Yeah, 22. What was it? You know, that late 2020, 21 window. Okay. Malignant movie. It's supposed to come out. Here it just says 2021.
Okay. Maybe it doesn't have a confirmed release date, because when I went through Wikipedia's list, but they only list movies that have confirmed release dates.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it has a official.
Okay, that's probably how I missed that one then.
But I mean, it's been done. It ended production in 2019, so I would imagine it's going to come out this. I mean, it's done.
Yeah,
but I mean, so is No Time to Die. So who knows?
That one, like Malignant, you could probably just put on a streaming service.
Yes, I imagine.
I mean, we know literally nothing about it, so I guess we can't say that. But like, if it's going to be another horror movie by James Wan, that's probably a safe bet.
Yeah.
My number 8 is The French Dispatch.
I did not have that on my list.
Yeah, that one was actually like the only one out of mine that doesn't have a confirmed release date, but that's just because I remembered that it was coming out. But yeah, the new Wes Anderson movie, a trailer came out quite a while ago for it. It's still got the stacked cast that he usually has, like Bill Murray and Frances McDormand's probably in it. I don't know. Whoever his usual collaborators, Owen Wilson. But yeah, I mean, I'm always excited for a new Wes Anderson movie. So
yeah. My number 8, I don't think will be on your list, is The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
I actually had that next.
Wow. You had that
7.
higher than Mission Impossible 7.
I don't know. Well, I just recently rewatched the first 2 Conjuring movies, and I was like, man, I forgot how much I like these. So
they're good movies, man.
It's kind of moved up on my radar.
Yeah, I mean, it's not by James Wan, but I feel like there's at least a little bit of vetting process for it to be a mainline Conjuring movie. So I'm hoping it's good. I saw just like when I was watching like the making of the Conjuring kind of universe that Warner Bros has online. It's like a 30-minute documentary. They kind of touch up on what this movie is going to be, and you can actually see little snippets of stuff, and it sounds interesting. Like this guy kills someone, but he like has no recollection of doing it or whatever. The devil made him do it. So it's like his trial and like how the Warrens get involved, and I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, I think James Wan would at least sign off on the story for it, right?
Well, I mean, he signed off on all the other ones. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, James Wan has been like relatively involved with all of the Conjuring movies. I mean, some more than others.
The Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the ones that's released on HBO Max and
Yep.
theaters simultaneously. So
It'll be
Cool,
spooky. What's your number 7? Oh, number 7's Conjuring.
yeah,
My number 7 then is A Quiet Place Part 2.
oh god, that's my number 6, Jimmy.
Oh wow, we're kind of in the same ballpark on these, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you can speak to it first.
I have a feeling it's just not going to be as good as the first one. I mean, it's going to be hard. It's got Cillian Murphy in it, if that's how you say his name. So it's got that going for it. So, yeah, I just, we'll see. Was it a one-hit wonder? Can John Krasinski do it again? Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Will I not buy popcorn as to not make noise? I certainly will not.
Yeah. A Quiet Place Part 2 is weird. It's kind of with No Time to Die and stuff, and just the fact that those trailers for those movies came out so long ago, and I haven't seen them since like they were probably first released. Like what the trailer for Quiet Place came out in 2019.
Was it 2019
or early 2020?
I would imagine it was early 2020.
Okay. But it's just I haven't seen it since, so I'm like I'm trying to rack my brain for what's even in the trailer. Like I remember Cillian Murphy. I remember they spoiled John Krasinski's in it for part of it. Assumedly like in a flashback of some sort, but yeah. Looks like the first one, so.
All right, so that was your number 6, so now I got to do my number 6.
Yeah, I guess.
All right, my number 6 is Halloween Kills.
Oh, that's actually why didn't I put that in my honorable mentions? I like saw it and then I just didn't write it down. So.
My number 6, Halloween Kills. So yes, numbers 9 through 6 are all horror movies. So
sorry, I just bumped my mic completely on accident.
Completely on purpose. Yeah, Halloween Kills. I enjoyed Halloween 2018. I've only seen it the one time in theaters. And it was a good time, and he doesn't kill the baby. Will he kill the baby this time? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for it too. I want to go back and watch the 2018 one. Yeah. Like I don't remember, like I wasn't absolutely in love with it, but the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to see that again.
I remember like hating the beginning and being like, oh, this is rough, and then liking the rest of the movie. And then the sheriff of the town reminded me of John McCain. And then somebody gets their head smushed in like a pumpkin.
Oh, that's right.
I believe that happened, and you turned to me and you said, like a pumpkin. So it was a good time. Yeah, we should watch that movie again sometime before the next one comes out.
Yeah.
All right.
Holden,
okay. Number 5 for you.
Number 5 for me. Just talked about it a little bit in the delays, but Nightmare Alley, I think, will now be my number 5. The new Guillermo del Toro movie. I don't think for me there's a Guillermo del Toro movie I've seen that I haven't liked. I mean, less enthusiastically than some like Pacific Rim. Like Pacific Rim's, it's entertaining. It's not like not great. But I mean, pretty much all of his movies, he doesn't really seem to care what people think like about what he makes, because I mean he makes like movies considered a masterpiece like Pan's Labyrinth and stuff like that, and then he'll just go on and do whatever, like Pacific Rim or your Blade 2. Like and I just have a lot of respect for him as a filmmaker, and he has I don't think I've been disappointed in any of his movies, and his like the cast, as I said before, is stacked. Excited to see Ron Perlman in another one of his movies after he wasn't in Shape of Water, but yeah.
Yeah, he's a really good director.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My number 5 is The Suicide Squad, which you had as an honorable mention. I was a little surprised by that. Maybe it's just from your hatred of Suicide Squad, maybe. But
I think it's a testament to my excitement for this one that it's even on my honorable mention due to my hate for the first one.
James Gunn, you got to do whatever you wanted. people are gonna die. It seems silly. They seem like they had a fun time making it. I don't really care about the characters, so it'll be fun to watch. Have a good time. So.
I'm gonna be excited to just see like half the cast die. Like they're like so much of the Suicide Squad is going to die, and I'm kind of excited to see the creative and I'm sure exaggerated deaths that they're gonna go through.
Yeah, it'll be fun. All right, Holden.
Is that
getting in?
Do you remember? Is that R-rated?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I can't imagine it not being R-rated.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Next one, number 4, which I'm sure it's probably number 1 for you, Jimmy, but it's Spiral.
Spiral, number 1, baby.
That means I know what your number 2 is, but
the great thing about Spiral is, got pushed back a year. Bummer. Okay. Great thing though is it comes out the weekend I'm done. The school year is over, so it is like a treat for me getting through my first year of teaching. So I'm gonna enjoy that treat. And then it's gonna get delayed. I'm gonna die.
In case you somehow don't know, Spiral's the new Saw movie. Like if you listen to this podcast, you obviously know. But like, yeah, Spiral. Pretty excited for it. I fell in love with the Saw movies the summer before I came to college. I binge watched all 7 that were out at the time. They were like all on Amazon Prime, and I think I watched all 7 within the span of 2 days.
You watched them before coming to college?
Yeah.
Then you rewatched all 7?
No, I've only seen all 7 once.
Oh, I thought you watched them all. I don't know.
No,
I've seen all of them, but 5 and 7. I don't know.
I've rewatched a couple. Like I've seen the first one a few times. I think I watched 6 with you.
Yeah, we watched that one together.
Yeah, and I think there might be maybe 1 or 2 other ones I've seen a couple times, but yeah, I mean they're really quite bad, but they're really funny and just really stupid. It's such a guilty pleasure series. That was one of the ways that Jimmy and I first bonded, was talking about the Saw movies.
Yes, I think like the first one, the story is very interesting and the concept is very interesting, and it's like quite poorly made, but it's still so interesting that it's a really enjoyable watch. And then the rest of them, like 2 and 3, are like, oh, okay, these are passable, and then the rest are just absolutely terrible. They're funny to watch.
My least favorite, I think, is 2, because I think like it was still trying to take itself so seriously, and it was before it became campy. Like I think the other ones are maybe objectively worse, but they're just funnier. I
hope the new one's not campy. If Spiral ends up being campy,
yeah,
I'm be bummed.
Spiral looks at the trailer that we have looks like it could maybe be good, which is kind of surprising. Like
I really want it to be good.
That would be pretty
It's
cool.
a movie they didn't have to make.
What if this becomes the most critically acclaimed Saw movie?
That would be amazing. That's all I've ever wanted, Holden. It's my number 1. All right, my number 4, which I'm assuming is going to be in your top 3, is Spider-Man 3.
Oh yeah, that's my number 3.
Number 3. All right. This movie just like gets more interesting as it goes on, and I feel like we're just set up for disappointment at this point because it just sounds so cool.
There's so many things happening in this movie. Like it's just ridiculous with all the characters they're bringing back. Apparently, I just saw that it's like set at Christmas time now, so it might also be a Christmas movie. Like
Spider-Man, there's no place like home. No place like home, man. I lock it in. It's no place like home. Especially if it's around the holidays and it's the multiverse. He's like, boy, everybody, I'm Tom Holland. I just went around the multiverse and sure,
puppets.
And it sure feels good to be home. There's no place like home.
I'm sure. I'm glad I got my Christmas pudding.
I forgot what I was gonna say now, but it was gonna be funny.
Yeah, no, I think I'm pretty excited for it. I'm just curious to see if more and more stuff like gets announced as that movie gets closer. Like maybe we'll hear, oh, now they're just gonna put the animated Miles Morales in the movie. Like whatever, just put him in. Who killed Roger Rabbit or Who Framed Roger Rabbit style? Yeah, that one's pretty good. That was my number 3 though. So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Mission Impossible 7.
Oh, yeah, we talked about
so.
that. So our number 2 is the same. I did do
okay.
2 for both of us is Dune.
Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah, we both very much voiced our excitement for Dune in the past. I mean, when the trailer came out, just kind of boosted our excitement for it. Visually, just looks incredible, like the rest of Denis Villeneuve's movies. I mean, acting. I like a lot of these movies. One of the reasons I'm excited for them is the stacked cast, and so we got the cast here once again stacked. I like that term, stacked cast. Keep using it. But yeah, it just seems great. I'll probably watch, because I've heard it's quite a bit different than the books. I think I will watch the David Lynch movie before this one comes out. I know you said you weren't going to because you didn't want to spoil it, but I think I've heard it's different enough that it doesn't matter.
I don't want to watch it. I want to experience Dunkin' Idaho or Dunkin' Egg or whatever they call them these days, unadulterated for the first time. All right, Holden, what is your number 1 most anticipated movie of the year?
Another one we talked about during delays. It's Last Night in Soho.
Yep.
This was also my number 1 last year. I think, yeah, my top 2 are the same. I think, are your top 3 the same?
No,
Mission Impossible. Okay, your top 2 are the same though.
I had Tenet last year.
Okay, gotcha.
And I also forgot to put Spiral on the list last year.
That's right. Yeah, and then you, because when I mentioned Spiral, you're on live on the podcast. You're like, oh no, rearrange. But yeah, Last Night in Soho. I mean, I'm purely just going off the fact that it's an Edgar Wright movie. Because I am such an Edgar Wright fan. I watch Scott Pilgrim and Baby Driver quite often, and Hot Fuzz is also among some of my favorite movies, and pretty much all of them I've seen. Just fantastic. So I'm excited. This one's going to be like a new direction for him, because all of his movies have always had like comedy as part of their elements, but this one seems to be purely like psychological horror. So
well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah,
it's an honorable mention, I guess, for me.
There you go.
Hold on, I could not believe that Venom: Let There Be Carnage was not your number 1.
You know what? I didn't even put it on I maybe would have put it on my honorable mentions, but I'm like, this movie's getting delayed. There's no, like, the rest of Sony's slate got delayed. There's no way this one isn't too.
Other movies we did not mention, Steven Spielberg's West Side Story is apparently coming out.
Oh yeah, I mean, maybe it'll be good.
Don't hold your breath. Matrix 4 is it coming out apparently.
Wait, quick side note, is Spielberg gotten to the point where he's like Robert Zemeckis and we flip a coin?
I think so.
Yeah.
We're just kind of, well, yeah, because like The Post was good, and that Bridge of Spies, is that was art, right? They all kind of the same. They're all just Tom Hanks dramas at some point, you know.
BFG, I think, was okay.
Didn't see it. That was mixed, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Then he made Ready Player One, which is on HBO Max. I could just watch it any day. Yeah. We didn't mention Godzilla versus Kong.
Yep. I mean, as we mentioned, neither of us remember anything about the previous movies.
And Ghostbusters Afterlife, I think, were the other ones. I mean, we did kind of just say F9 was in your honorable mention, Free Guy. And I think that hits them all.
We also didn't mention Eternals. Oh wait, I think that's still coming out this year.
Is that Marvel?
That's Marvel.
All right,
that's the one that's being directed by the Nomadland director.
Oh wow.
I didn't.
Oh wow.
I didn't even put that in my honorable mentions because I do not care about the Eternals like characters.
Okay.
I don't. It doesn't sound particularly interesting.
I put a little list of games I'm looking forward to this year.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Coming out. I didn't put them in any order, but one just came out that I was excited for. Hitman 3.
Apparently, it's really good.
Yeah, and it's all in PSVR too. So that just sounds really fun. I guess it's like an extra challenge, but it's really fun to play. And it's kind of, they didn't use the Move controller, but you can kind of use the DualShock 4 interactively. So I've heard it's kind of actually like the best of both worlds a little bit, because some people were really disappointed. I put Resident Evil 8 Village, but then I put a question mark after I saw the trailer because I thought it didn't look good. God of War Ragnarok is coming out. That's not going to happen.
That's not coming. There's no way.
There's absolutely no way that game is coming out if that game comes out this year, I will give somebody money. Like give
me money.
Holden, if that game comes out this year, I will give you $5.
Yes. Yes.
I will let you retain the 5 UN bill. That's a deep dive into the podcast lore. Gotham Knights, I don't know. I'm just out of curiosity. I hope it's good. Probably not. And then Horizon Forbidden West.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully that comes out this year.
I think, yeah.
Hopefully I can get a PS5 this year.
Yeah, right. I feel like that one has to come out this year. Like Sony probably needs that to be its big exclusive this year.
Did I say Deathloop?
No.
Deathloop. I'm looking forward to that one too.
I'm trying to think of other games for me. I'm always crossing my fingers that Metroid Prime 4 will be released, but I think we might have another year before that gets finished. I think there's a new Zelda Breath of the Wild game in the works, and supposedly this year is The Legend of Zelda's 35th anniversary, so a lot of people think that that'll get released for that, and maybe we'll get another kind of collection of 3D Zelda games, kind of like they did for Mario last year. So crossing my fingers for something cool with the Zelda franchise this year. I think the new Stalker game is coming out, which that's kind of, I don't know if you even know what Stalker is.
No.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Metro series before it was Metro, or like before that existed. Okay. And it's kind of like an open world, like I think it takes place in Chernobyl, like in the fallout of Chernobyl, and like there's weird mutants and stuff, and it was kind of a cult classic, but there's a sequel coming out I think this year that people are excited for. Finally, because I think that game came out in like 2005, so it's been quite a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's probably it for games. Are there any like shows?
Better Call Saul, unless that comes out 2021.
Oh, okay.
Mandalorian season.
Oh yeah, Mandalorian.
I don't know. Are we getting any Game of Thrones stuff this year?
I don't think so. I think that's 2022.
I did look this up earlier, but it was like 2 weeks ago, so now I'm blanking. Stranger Things, is that coming out?
Oh yeah, I think so. I would hope so. I mean,
it's the last season, right?
I don't know if it's the last season, but I mean, the third season came out 2019, like July, so I would hope that the new season would be coming out this year at some point.
And I've actually watched them.
Yeah, so maybe we can actually do a timely review, and unlike that review we did that was like a year late.
Better late than never, folks.
I mean, we're getting various Marvel shows. Are we getting any other Star Wars shows? Is Boba Fett coming out this year?
Yeah, Boba Fett's coming out.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Nothing that big that I'm that excited for other than Better Call Saul.
Yeah, agreed.
You're looking forward to Better Call Saul even though you haven't seen any of it?
No, I'm excited for it because then I'll finally watch it, because I'm not going to watch it until it's all out because I don't want to have to wait for it. So
wow. These kids these days, am I right, audience? Kids these days, am I right, Scott? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I'm talking to your dad, Scott Sutter. All right,
Yeah.
Holden. Anything else, or shall we go on to what are you doing?
I think that's it.
All right. What are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing? No, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, what are you doing? What are you doing?
All right. What have I been doing this week, Jimmy? Well, when I was thinking of TV shows, I actually just remembered I finally watched and finished Fargo season 4 this last week. Very pleased with it. I think it got less positive reception when it came out, but I mean, like with TV shows, most of that reception comes out like from the first episode or two, so it's kind of inaccurate. Like if you go to Metacritic, usually that's just based off of the first few episodes. But Fargo, season 4, it does start out a little slow, but I think it gets a lot better as it goes on. I think it still is my least favorite out of the 4 seasons, but I don't think it's like that much of a dip in quality by any means. Very solid, very different too, because it's like it's set in Kansas City, even though it's called Fargo, so it's quite a different setting than we may be used to. But then for my film aesthetics class, watched a couple movies this week. I rewatched Arrival.
Whatever the soundtrack is.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's still very good. I don't like it. It's not as fun to watch the second time because I'm not like trying to figure it. Like I already know, and it's a pretty slow paced movie.
It's a slow burn. That's
it
for
is.
Sure.
And I mean, I'm still pleased that I rewatched it, and I don't think it's any worse. It just wasn't as entertaining this time. I also watched Moonlight
for the first time.
For the first time.
Saw it.
And I wasn't in love with it. Like I think it's pretty fantastic in everything it does, but it just did not engage me. I don't know what it was. Like
I feel that too. Like I thought it was a very good movie, but it didn't like people are like, this is like one of the greatest movies I've ever seen, and I just didn't get that out of it.
It just did not click with me. And so I mean I can recognize a lot of what it does positively, but I don't know. I felt bad for the main character, but I didn't think he was like that interesting. He didn't really have much going on. Like I don't know. That's probably a controversial opinion, but yeah.
I haven't seen it since it was out, so I don't remember a lot of it right now.
We watched Selma. I think that was this week. That was also for my class. I forgot about that. Still very good. Still has probably one of the best performances I've ever seen with the lead actor David Oyelowo as Martin Luther King Jr. I also watched, because I think it was just added onto Amazon Prime within the last couple weeks, One Night in Miami. And that's the movie where it's like Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali.
Oh yeah. I was like, this sounds familiar.
What are the other time like blanking on who the other two people are. But yeah, it's it was pretty good. I mean, it's kind of like Ma Rainey's, where it does feel like it's adapted from a play, because it is adapted from a play, because they don't really go to very many locations. It's all pretty much in the dialogue. I think I personally liked Ma Rainey's a little bit more just because of kind of the musical aspect, but obviously that is just a preference. It's still a very good movie. And the guy who plays Malcolm X is like incredible. I feel like he should also be nominated for an Oscar this year. I watched Doctor Strangelove yesterday because I was bored, didn't have anything to do, and I hadn't seen it.
I haven't seen it. It's good.
It is good. It is funny. I don't think it's as funny as some people say it is, but there is like one aspect of the movie that involving a phone conversation that I won't spoil for anyone who hasn't seen it, but I think that phone conversation is like by far the funniest part of the movie. And beyond that, like I said, I finished Fargo. I started just last night Twin Peaks. So yeah, I'll be one of those people that has watched Twin Peaks soon.
Well, Holden, another week, and Holden just is that much more pretentious, everybody. Like King Kong, he's still growing, but instead of taller, you're just more pretentious.
At least so far in the first couple episodes, and I'm sure some of you listening are going to be like, well, it gets different. But in the first couple episodes, even though it's a David Lynch thing, it doesn't seem that pretentious. It's just like there are weird parts
he can't even register the pretentiousness of David Lynch material now, folks. It's getting bad. We need to have an intervention.
It just seems like a murder mystery with like weird characters. That's what it seems like so far, and like a really cool setting. Also, after having played Alan Wake, the setting in that game is just basically Twin Peaks. Like it's so obviously inspired from it. I'm like, yeah, I recognize this from Alan Wake. But yeah, so I'll update you guys as to how pretentious the show gets.
Great. I cannot wait. And by that, I mean, I absolutely can.
I think that's it for me, though, Jimmy.
All right. I haven't really done much this week. I started watching Chernobyl yesterday, Holden.
Ooh.
I've gotten 2 episodes in. You've seen it?
Yes.
Yeah. Just been watching it on the elliptical. The first episode was a little, I don't think it passes the exercise test because you're like, you have no idea who any of the characters are. So it's like, I felt like I was like, I'm trying to latch on to something here and I couldn't. But I really, the second episode definitely was. And I mean, it's very, like, the production value is like insane. Like, it feels like it is there and it feels like a movie, and the cinematography is exceptional, and it definitely feels tense, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Like, how are we all still alive?
Well, as some... Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt, but as someone who didn't know a whole lot about Chernobyl, or how it went down, like that first episode, I was like, just watching everything go to crap. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's very well, like, the visual style is great. The visual storytelling is exceptional, and yeah, it's intense, and it's like things are wild. It's wild. It's just like, I cannot believe this actually happened. Like, it just feels like a dystopian movie.
It does.
This doesn't feel real. But other than that, I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima. Still awesome. And I think that's about it for me. I mean, it hasn't been that exciting. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's all I got this week.
Sweet.
Take us home, Holden.
All right. Well, so for next week, I think next week will be when the Little Things is out. We'll see if that's good. We'll watch it, and yeah, it's on HBO Max. I think it's going to be in theaters too for any of you who don't have an HBO Max account. You can go see it there.
Or if you're Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. Yeah, beyond that, you can give us movie recommendations by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes if you haven't already, and leaving that recommendation in the review. You can also send us an email at tomppodcast@gmail.com. Tell us the review there. And the other option is you can donate to our Patreon and give us recommendations there. There are movies that there are a few movies like over the next couple months that we're wanting to see, but we will definitely have like various gap weeks in there. So we'll be looking for those, especially with the delays that just happened, like with some of the movies getting moved. We'll be looking for some recommendations from you guys. We have a few in the queue, but we need more.
We need more.
Always more.
Yeah, and leave reviews that are nice to me as well. There's too much pro Holden reviews. There's too much of a Holden bias. I am the best part
of the podcast.
Well, I'm in the top 2.
Are you talking about the most recent one that was left? Because I saw that. That's pretty funny.
It's okay. So it says Holden is a hunk. I can tell by the soothing tones of his sweet caramel voice. I said caramel to make it extra smooth. That Holden is indeed a hunk. Jimmy is okay. That's the. Please grab a box of Cheez-Its and review Swiss Army Man. You know what? I'll settle for okay. I'll settle for that. That's all right.
That's pretty.
And funny. Holden is a hunk, so that is a fair assessment. So
It's true. Both of those.
But he
statements are
unfortunately has a face for radio, though. Otherwise, that's why this would be a video podcast.
This is also true.
I'm thinking about putting these up on YouTube. These in audio form, the podcast.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
Maybe you should.
I probably should, but will I? Nah,
I think we keep going back and forth. I think occasionally we put like one up on the internet, and then we're like, all right, we're back on YouTube now, and then we stop putting them up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
But you can also follow us
it.
on. Yeah, you can follow us on social media. That's all I was gonna say.
Fine. All right.
But now we're done.
Now we're done. All right. Adios, pantalones.
Love you.